Well, we've looked at the vanity of wisdom, taking pleasure for the mind or for the body, accomplishing things, and hard labor. And who can be content apart from God? And who can possibly find purpose and meaning in life that has any lasting value apart from God? But God tells us there's a time for everything, and it's really worth reading. It's in chapter 3 of Ecclesiastes. Solomon so wisely penned, "There is an appointed time for everything. There is a time for every event under the heavens. A time to give birth and a time to die. A time to be planting and a time to uproot what is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to throw stones and a time to gather stones. A time to embrace and a time to shun embracing. A time to search and a time to give up as lost. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear apart and a time to sew together. A time to be silent and a time to speak. There is a time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. What profit is there to a worker from that which he toils? I have seen the task which God has given men, or the sons of men, which is to occupy themselves. He has made everything appropriate for its time. He has also set eternity in their hearts." Now, did you hear that? He has set eternity in their hearts. Yet so that man will find out the work which God has done from the beginning and even to the end. I know there is nothing better for them to rejoice and to do good in one's lifetime. Moreover, every man who eats and drinks and sees good in all his labor, it is a gift of God. I know that everything that God does will remain forever. There is nothing to add to it, and there's nothing to take away from it. For God has so worked that man should fear him, and that which has been already, and that which will be has already been. For God seeks that what has passed by. Well, remember, apart from God, there's nothing accomplished. But listen to the conclusion that Solomon has. He knows that God has set an eternity in the heart of man, not just the time here on earth. And he knows that it's good when man has done what God has asked him to do, carried out his mission, that there is satisfaction. But not one that man should boast about, but rather one man should recognize that God ordained. Recently, one of my viewers said that he recognized that somebody had been directing his path all of his life, and he was grateful for it. I think all of us should have that kind of an attitude, especially if we've done it for God and with God, and that we know that it's pleasing to God. Not that we should take any credit for it, but that we should be pleased in it, that we've been part of God's plan, and that we have been used to serve God here on earth. I believe that as I look back on my life, God also has directed it. I've not always followed his direction, and for those things I have sorrow and disappointment. But for those areas where I have followed his plan and tried to do what he asked me to do, I get great satisfaction. Not that I can take any credit for it was only he working through me. And so I found satisfaction in life because it was not apart from God. I hope that you're finding satisfaction in life. I think the only way you'll find that is with God and following His plan and being obedient to His will. Remember the key words that He has here, that we would have a fear for God. Not a fear of God, but recognizing that He is supreme, that He is sovereign, and that His will be done whether we cooperate or not. But certainly there's greater satisfaction in life if we cooperate with Him and we do good and follow His plan for our lives. And that's my thought for the day. I hope you'll read Ecclesiastes 3. I hope you'll meditate on it. I hope you'll think back on your life and see the places where you were in His will and when times when you were outside of His will. And perhaps if you're outside of His will right now, you'll repent. That means to turn around and go the opposite direction and follow His will for your life. God bless you and have a great day.